My masthead closely follows conventions of other mastheads. It is based on both Q and NME. This is in terms of size and layout. They are all in the top left-hand corner, they are all big, and all have placement behind the artist. However, there is one way that I challenge this convention. This is through the slogan. Most magazines had the slogans underneath the title, but I wanted mine above the masthead. I did this by aligning it between the M and K of music. I feel that this is a successful challenge because of the alignment and size. Using the same font type also creates a sense of how style making to appear more professional. The masthead I have produced also includes price, date and issue number, which is conventional of other mastheads. My final result of the photo on the front cover was a studio shot. This is conventional of most of the covers I researched into, as most of them use a studio location for their photos. This makes my magazine appear more conventional. This is the same reason I decided on location. I used bright, vibrant lighting to create a sense of excitement and energy on the cover. Covers I researched into use bright, vibrant lighting for the same reason, therefore I am using and applying conventions to make a more realistic product. I used a close-up shot to give my artist important status and significance on the cover, to make her the key selling point. The impact this had on the audience would be that they would be more attracted to the cover and more likely to buy the magazine, as they are seeing this big image of a young woman that captures their attention. It is conventional of magazines to use close-ups on their covers. 3 out of the 5 I researched into did this, and this makes my cover appear more conventional. There was heavy manipulation in Photoshop with this image. The function of this was to make the image appear more professional and make the cover appear more professional. It also better represents the genre. I cut her out of a cluttered background using the lasso tool on Photoshop, and used the paint bucket tool to make it like she was in a studio. This is better following conventions, as it is conventional of music magazines to use a studio for their location. It's also better at representing the pop rock genre, as studio locations are more stereotypical of that genre. The costume of this artist is denim jacket and a pink top. They represent her to be a tough girl, strong and powerful. They represent the pop rock genre, as denim represents the rock genre, whilst the pink top represents the pop, creating this multi-genre feature on the cover. I think I am conforming to conventions based on the Katy Cat double-page spread I researched into, which had a similar costume creating the same genre. I don't think her as a person on the cover is conventional though with magazines, as most conventional magazines use models that are slightly older and with more voyeuristic features to attract their buyers. I do however think this is a good thing about my cover, as it isn't using sex to sell the magazine. The location of my contents page was chosen because it was plain simple and therefore not taking any attention away from the artist. It's a location that is not conventional of magazines though, as most magazines tend not to use walls. I think this is a successful challenge because it works for its purpose and allows the audience to focus more on the model. I used spotlight style lighting to place more attention on her than there was on the background. This isn't conventional of the contents pages I researched into. However, I think that this is a successful challenge, as it does help the model to stand out more and allows more attention to be focused on her. A medium shot was used because the contents page mine is based on. The source also used a medium shot on their contents page, therefore I am better following conventions to create a more realistic product. The manipulation in Photoshop was the added spotlight effect to put more focus on her and to place more of the audience's attention on her. As already said, this was a successful challenge of conventions. The costume here also gives a strong representation of the music genre indie, as it is an individual costume. This successfully creates the feel of a multi-genre magazine, which is what I was aiming for. However, the costume is not conventional, but that doesn't matter because it represents a genre in an appropriate method. The woman featured is more conventional than the cover and the DPS woman. This is because she is older, taller, wiser and appears more attractive, which is more conventional of the magazines I researched. The location for the photo on the double page spread appeared to be an outdoor location, although it is difficult to tell on the final double page spread where the location is because of the Photoshop filters applied. A heavy spotlight has been applied to the model, whilst heavy blur has been applied to the background. This was because the location used, the river, was not conventional or accurate of other double-page spreads, and therefore needs to be edited with the filters mentioned to give a better result. While it is still unconventional, it is good, as it allows more attention and focus from the audience beyond the model. The shot type was again a close-up based on NME's double-page spread. I wanted mine to have a heavy impact and attention to and from the audience like NME's, so I followed this convention in my magazine. The costume and model are the same as the cover, and so they have the same impact. The font for the masthead is called Plignova. I downloaded this font from defont.com. I chose this font because of it suggesting a musical feel but not giving any representation of genre, giving the magazine the multi-genre feel I was aiming for. For this reason, I chose all of my other fonts to help symbolise the multi-genre element to my magazine. Fonts on the cover were selected because they have impact on the audience and stand out, therefore attracting and addressing the audience. The contents fonts were selected because of their multi-genre application, musical appeal, and ease of reading values. The title of double page spread has two fonts. This is to symbolise the happy conventions of the words pretty little and the negative conventions of the word liar to the audience, and to show the juxtaposition of these phrases. The rest of the font was again selected for the same reason as the contents page fonts. The style of written content was informal, colloquial, and yet still being correct in linguistic terms. This is based on the mode of address of the DPS articles I researched into, therefore following conventions to make a more professional product. Exclamation marks were used to show key points to the audience and to help signify important words or phrases. They could identify with the mode of address because it is how they normally talk and speak, allowing them to relate to the magazine, making them more likely to consume the magazine. Uses and gratifications vary. This also gave no representation of genre, giving the multi-genre feel I was aiming for. The layout of my front cover is based on elements of NME. They're mastered in the left-hand corner, pulls surrounding the main image, with the main pull underneath the face of the photo. This shows that I have followed conventions of magazine covers in my production because using these conventions in my own production has made my production appear more professional and more realistic. There is more of an image to text ratio, which is good for the front cover because the image is the main selling point of the cover, with the text being additional selling points. This is a conventional approach, as all of my research covers applied this. My cover is not challenging conventions, and I feel that this is the strength of the cover because it makes it appear more conventional and more realistic, and therefore more professional. The layout of my contents page is heavily based on the sources contents page. The use of a black opacity box with a medium shot to the right are influences and ideas I have used with the contents page for my production. Other conventions I have applied include a pull quote and photo caption to create a link between the main image and the articles listed, and because of this is a successful add-on. One convention is being challenged, however, and this is in the photo with the use of the spotlight. This is not conventional of content researched into, but this is a successful challenge of conventions because it allows more attention and focus to be on the model. There is more image to text, which is conventional of the contents page mine is based on. My double page spread is mostly based on NME. The use of them both having close-up photos, the first letter of the name being in big writing in the background, and text in columns is conventional of double page spread articles in real magazines. I have also applied and followed the conventions of an article name header and a pull quote to help break up the text and make it appear less daunting to the audience. There is an even ratio of text to photo, which is following the conventions of the magazine that mine is based on. I am challenging one convention again with the photo, and this is the use of a spotlight, but like it was with the contents page, it is successful here as it puts more attention on the model. Overall, I have mostly followed conventions of magazines. This is to make a more successful, realistic and conventional magazine that therefore is more likely to sell to the audience and therefore better meets the audience's expectations. The conventions that are being challenged, despite being few, gives the magazine a unique feel which allows the audience to take something different from it.